A Final Serenity. The mountains had always brought her a feeling of serenity. High above the world she could look out over the valleys and scattered cloud tops and feel out of reach of the troubles that plagued her below. Treetops rustled and swayed in the frigid tide of the wind, rippling and flowing in immense patterns to which those on the forest floor were blind. The great canvas of the world lay exposed beneath her, and everything seemed so facile, as if it were the board for a colossal game whose rules could be discerned simply through observation. She had come here today seeking that familiar and comforting sense of detachment, but it eluded her. She was the last of her kind. Her kin had once dominated the skies and all below them, at first by force and later with benevolence. The great worms had become objects of worship among the primitive bipeds breeding their way across the landscape, and were held in awe for their strength and wisdom. But through the folly of pride and the cruel stroke of misfortune, their numbers diminished. She had been alone now for more years than she could number. Upon her broad and weary shoulders had fallen the entire mantle of her species. Today she looked out across the mountains, the forests, the glittering lakes and the undulating plains. She saw only emptiness. She closed her eyes and willed the place to still her mind, to silence the voice within that spoke of her obsolescence. Part of her knew that there were those who would mourn her absence, others who would founder without her guidance. Yet another part of her knew that they would heal, would learn to cope without her, and perhaps would thrive as a result. She wondered how long her soul had been fractured thus that it was able to argue with itself. The wind whipped a flurry of snow from the mountainside, swirling it before her for a moment before depositing it far in the valley below. The trees beckoned her with waving arms, enticing her, pricking her cowardice. How easy it would be to sweep into the air, to fold back her wings and let the ground pull her to a final embrace. Her hind legs tensed. The trees rustled in anticipation. The valley opened up to receive her. The wind fell. Her legs sagged, and the forest sighed. Perhaps next time.